just want to make sure that the union is being used as a base as much as possible. Progressing what the Treasurer is already doing, I want to make sure that the efficiency and transparency of the union's finances is maximised. We are a charity, so I want to make sure that all of our funds, etc., are accountable. And I also want to expand the knowledge of the Treasurer's treats, the discounts. How many of you in here know kind of what discounts are offered with your union membership? Put up a hand. That's the problem. So with your membership, you get discounts at a range of shops across Cambridge. So if you do know about this, that will really, really increase kind of the benefit of having membership. So I want to make sure everyone knows about that and try and get more. I want to attract excellent sponsorship, of course. And sustainability-wise, I want to work closely with the Bursa and Vice President to ensure the union's financial future. Are there any questions?
Richard again.
This is what I've suggested before. The reason why people don't know what's in the list of Treasury streets is it's in the union term card, and they scan it and they look at it and they probably forget it. I have suggested before, and I suggest again, put the list of Treasury streets on a little card you can carry about in your wallet, like a credit card, and then you go into somewhere, oh, is that a Treasury street? You can look.
Yeah, it was definitely a good idea, and I'm sure a card can be printed off. I'm sure one can be made at some point during term and printed off at anybody's request. And also, publicity-wise, on social media, we could definitely make sure these treats are available to be seen and found.
Any other questions for Sharon? No, right. Then you are free to sit down, Sharon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, as is the long-running theme, we'll now go on to the next position, and in place of Jonah Sirks, who's running tomorrow, Josh is going to read Jonah's speech again. He's unfortunately stuck on a train, rather than it being that he couldn't be bothered to be here or anything awful like that. So take it away.
So we've been told we look quite similar, so just imagine this is Jonah's face. So hi everyone, my name is Jonah. I'm a second year HSPS at Clare, and I'd like to start by saying I'm really sorry that I can't be here. I'm stuck in London and my train has been delayed. I'm here today to try and win your important vote tomorrow, the vote that could elect me as your Easter 2017 Speakers Officer. Firstly, why me? I've been active on the last 2 union full committees and joined the role of Deputy Speaker, Guest Liaison Speakers and Guest Liaison Speakers in my 2 terms. This has given me unique and thorough insight into the work of Speakers Officer and has enabled me to garner a network of contacts with whom I am regularly in contact regarding future events. I am also committed, enthusiastic, organised, and plan to give all my energy to make your Easter term as exciting as possible. So what would I hope to do as Speakers Officer? Well, firstly, improve diversity. I hope to invite a wide range of interesting and well-known speakers, aiming to develop BME, women-only and LGBT invite days. Speakers Committee will be focused on looking for speakers with an interesting story to tell. Second, encourage inclusivity. If a particular speaker, say a GB rower, was speaking, I would hope to co-host the event with Cambridge Boat Club, allowing boat club members, even if union non-members, the opportunity to pay and attend talks relevant to them. It would not be fair for them to miss out on this opportunity by virtue of not being a member of the union. Third, ensure high quality of events. Not only do I plan to include high-profile and impressive speakers in the Easter term card, I also hope that the events themselves will be of utmost quality in terms of questions asked by myself and the audience. For those who cannot attend physically or who may not be comfortable with asking public questions, I plan to develop an online system whereby members can ask speakers questions before the event. Thank you for listening, and remember, please vote Jonah Sirks as your Easter 2017 Speakers Officer tomorrow. That's my speech. Thanks. So he's offered for me to ring him for questions, / I can just... I don't know.
Well, I suppose the question would be, does anyone have questions? Because if it might be quite impractical to ask them, as in, Josh is not Jonah. So does anyone have burning questions for Jonah, that in which case he could be wrong? If not, I think it's fair to skip. Right, okay, thank you very much, Josh, for standing in as Jonah. Okay, right. moving swiftly on then, we'll now go to James, who is running for the position of Executive Officer in tomorrow's election. James.
So, hello everyone. I should begin by saying, as Asia did at the beginning, that this is not my normal evening wear. I do apologise for the penguin suit. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm James Byrne. I'm running for Executive Officer. And I find with these things it kind of makes sense to divide my speech into two parts. So, my experience, first of all, and then my plans for intentions going forward after that. So, as to the first aspect, I've now spent 3 terms working at the union. The first one was as AV, which is audio-visual, working the cameras and mics up there. And then as head of events management for 2 terms, both as deputy and now as the main thing this term. And in all those roles, quite a lot of the work is done in the building itself, which means that I've had an opportunity to see the organisation and the running of the events that have gone on here in the debates. And I've done a bit of debating myself, both as captain of Christ's intercollegiate team within Cambridge, and then as King's College London representing the union and the uni. But more than this, within the union specifically, I've been involved in various committees which help organise the term. So that's Speakers Committee, Debates Committee, Treasurers, Diversity, Vacation, and then the 2 main ones which are Full and Standing Committee, which kind of bring all the officers together. And so those are the ones where I've been able to work kind of behind the scenes and see the methods by which speakers and debaters are invited and by which events are organised here. So given that experience, I intend to ensure a really great Easter term at the union. But how in particular will I do this? What changes do I intend to make? So, as to debates, one of the things I found in my experience is that proposition and opposition have a risk of either being overly repetitive or being very outright internally contradictory in their positions. And so, of course, speakers come from different backgrounds and so, of course, have different views on things. But I still think there's a great merit to be had in putting debaters into contact some weeks before the debate to avoid that happening. And so that a debater doesn't have to panic as their early speaker says all the points that they've prepared, and that viewers can watch a much more lively and cohesive form of debate. As to inviting the speakers, I want to see a greater use of the resources which the union already has, but perhaps doesn't exploit as well as it could. So in regards to diversity, for example, as Jonah said earlier, it's a real issue that the union's been working on for some terms, but I think one of the best ways of tackling it would be through our diversity officers and through diversity committee, at one of the earliest stages in the processes, which is the invitations themselves. So through an injection of diverse speakers from that committee and through reorientating them in debates committee itself. So now it's to appointed positions and the running of events, which is the other function of the executive. So I'd encourage a term where every head of department, and in particular head of events management, has at least a basic awareness of what all the other departments do, so to help with coordination of the term and to help events run more smoothly. I'd also hope to work with Nathan, our wonderful technician, who may or may not be up there now, to help improve our audio-visual capabilities. That's not only crucial within the chamber itself, but also because, as we're in an increasingly digital age, so that the union can maintain a professional presence online. And so through confronting those issues, I hope that we can begin to work towards a really professional, superb term of debate and high-quality events. And given the opportunity, I want to start working on that process right away. And so I very much hope that I'll have your support tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James. Do we have any questions for James as running for Executive Officer? Nope. Okay, in that case, James, you may sit down. Thank you very much. Okay. Right then, we move on to the final position. Running for President of the Society for Easter 2016 is Harry Stovin Bradford. Harry has 5 minutes to speak. Should he wish to use all 5 minutes, is up to him. Harry.
I mean, like, for all time's sake, Al, sure, why not? Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Harry. I'm a second-year English student at Fitzwilliam, and for the last 2 terms, I've been serving as the society, one of the 2 debating officers of the Cambridge Union Society. And as James did, I want to divide my speech into 2 sections. The first to sort of say why that experience, I think, makes me a good candidate to be president of the society, and then secondly, the sort of things that I'll be wanting to do once I do, hopefully tomorrow, become president-elect of the society. We all know that Ron is a persuasive and powerful candidate in any election. So, firstly, in terms of the experience that I already have, so debating officer is an interesting role because not a lot of people who are involved in the union and come to events really know what it does. But the best way to describe it is sort of jack of all trades and master of essentially trying to make it look like you know everything that's going on in the building at once, but having to rely on lots of other people to make that happen. And that's kind of what I think the role of the president is to some extent as well. So what does the sort of things debating officer does? First of all, we're in charge of a not insubstantial budget of upwards of £50,000 every year for sending people around the world to go to debating tournaments. We're in charge of booking all of those flights in terms of sorting out logistics for going on tour, for example, to America, or as I will be going at the end of this term, going to Hong Kong to run a round of our schools competition. We're also in charge of that schools competition, which this year became the largest debating competition, irregardless of age, in the world. Running that is a logistical challenge, if not nightmare, that means that I have a really good experience when it comes to making all of the different disparate elements of this building come together for a common purpose, which is fundamentally at the core of what the union does, which is free debate and ensuring that everybody who wants to have a voice has the ability for that voice to be heard. And also debating officers are in charge of running one of the largest events that happens in the union every year, which happened just last weekend, which is the Intervarsity Debating Competition, where we have teams from 4 continents come in and debate here over the course of 2 days, and then also helping out to some extent with the Women's Open, which is the largest and most prestigious women's debating competition in the world as well. So the debating officer role is really good preparation for becoming president, just because of A, the amount of time you spend in this building, B, that you have to interact with absolutely everybody who has a role here, and see that there's a financial element to it as well, which ensures that you already have a running start at understanding how the building works in terms of running a charity at age 19, or helping to do so, and then also a relationship with the staff that make the building what it is outside of the elected officers. So what would I like to go on to do in the union, and what would I do if I was so lucky as to be elected president? So I think what's really, really good is that the union is a place where we do bring lots of people together, and we do try to have ideas challenged and have a free debate which involves people from all sides making arguments persuasively and passionately. But the thing is that the union, as a microcosm of like a certain subset of people in the university who are willing to give up their time to do this, or just have the ability in their degree to like be able to give up that time, means you have a very limited perspective on the sort of people that should be invited for events, just by the dint of actually not knowing who the most powerful speaker on opposition to any given motion could be. So as president, and given the profile of that role, I think one of the most important things that I could go on to do would be to make contact and start building a network with the other presidents of other societies around Cambridge, societies that represent the various disparate identities of people within this university, and ensuring that representatives from those societies, I don't know, for example, an LGBT society, or like, I don't know, the Islamic Society, or FLY, or any other great societies in the university, turn up to speakers committee, turn up to debates committee, ensure that they're there as a powerful advocate for their identity and wanting to see people like that represented within the union. Because we're aware, and it's been such an important thing as the union's been developing over the last couple of years, that we need to become more diverse. And the way to do that isn't to wait for like diversity to come to us, it's to be active and to confront the problems we have. I think that's an important thing that could be changed as president. So, moving on from that, I would absolutely love to have all of your votes tomorrow and the votes of all of your friends. So if anything I've said here makes even a tiny bit of sense to you, something that this union should be doing, and if you think that I would be at least competent and hopefully a little bit more than competent at the role after 2 terms on standing committee and then being involved in the union since week 0 of my first term here through debating, I would be enormously grateful to have your vote. And you know what, if I get it, you get to see an even better sight than that, which will be me quadruple wielding VKs at the union's takeover of life that evening, and then probably getting horrendously drunk and being carried home by Alistair, which I mean, frankly is a sight that I definitely want to see. And if you do too, then vote for Harry Stover Bradford for union president. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harry. Has anyone got any questions for Harry? Yes.
Richard College.
Thank you. If you're elected president, the alternative is Ron, so
Yes.
he's not going to do anything I ask. Will you please try to improve the timeliness of communication to members, particularly when something changes? The union is exceedingly bad at telling members when the time of a speaker has changed, or when something's delayed, or a speaker isn't turning up. And some of us can't just pop back into our college rooms and sit around for a while. I live some distance away, and I have to actually come here, and to come here and find what I came for isn't happening, or is happening 3 hours later, it's really very unpleasant.
Yes, so I think that what that will come down to doing, and certainly something that you can work at from the position of president, is being able to ensure that everybody is not only communicating with the person like immediately responsible for that information going out, which I think is normally the secretary, but also that we have an ability to like collate that information upwards as well. So to ensure that, for example, I'm aware when those sorts of things happen. And I think that at that point, what's going to be useful will be the president also being able to email out to the mailing list, things like that. So I think that whilst getting lots of emails telling you that something's changed might be a little bit annoying and might like clog up your Hermes or whatever, I think just ensuring that information is delivered, even if it is a little bit repetitively, is probably going to be the way that we solve that. And that just involves everybody being even more in the loop than they are now, and ensuring that everybody knows what's going on. So yeah, I completely understand that that's an issue and can be quite annoying. I go to Fitz, like, I know what it's like to walk down here and for something to be cancelled. That is irksome. Right.
You could also put up notices.
Yes, there's an argument.
When you get here, you have to ask about 10 people before you find out what's
There is an argument certainly to be made for returning to a more analogue way of doing things within the building, and I think that, yes, that would be a good idea. We'll put posters up to ensure people know as well. Questions?
Any other questions for Harry? No? Okay, in that case, Harry, you are also free to sit down. Thank you very much for everyone for coming to Hustings. Thank you very much to Richard for posing your questions to candidates for Hustings. I must remind you all that we open our elections tomorrow at 8 a.m. and they close at 6 p.m. So that's when the polls are open from 8 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. in the evening, after which results will be announced to you all through your emails, so through your inbox. That's all there really is to say from me, other than thank you very much for coming, and do stick around for the main debate later. We do have some fantastic speakers this evening. I hear Danny Dorling is particularly key for anyone who's involved with geography. So yes, that will be starting imminently in about 5 minutes or so. So please do stick around. Thank you.